the time of year where the seeds are planted for what grows in the season ahead. Live from Raymond James with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers. Closed captioning is brought to you by FDOT Target Zero. Let's get everyone home safely. Let's welcome in the newest member of our team. She'll be working the sidelines with us throughout the preseason, Eileen Knotson. Eileen?
Chris, Thursday is really where it all started. It really set the tone for tonight. Things got a little chirpy. You could tell these guys wanted to hit someone other than their teammates. A few fights broke out. Baker Mayfield in the middle of it, of course. And then we even saw Tristan Wirfs limp on the field in his cane. Baker said, hey, sit down. This is not for the injured guys. But these practices, these joint practices are imperative, right? This is where the veterans are getting their live reps. And the Bucs are going to have another joint practice next week against the Steelers. That'll be their last one, but I'll tell you what, we are excited to have some live football here tonight in Tampa Bay. Guys?
All right, thank you. Appreciate that, Eileen. We saw Brian Callahan, second-year head coach, and there's Todd Bowles with his multi-year contract extension after 5 straight trips to the playoffs for Tampa Bay.
Absolutely deserved. 5 straight playoffs, 5 straight NFC South, or 4 straight NFC South championships. Him and Jason Light, the general manager, got extensions this year. And I think Todd Bowles has done a great job building this team and getting this team to the point where they're competitive every single year. And I think it's going to be the exact same formula in 2025, Chris.
Guy who worked at the Cannons is already in regular season form. I know they do it in pregame warmups. 83 degrees. Showers cleared early. We're optimistic. Not just about the weather, but the season ahead. Bucs won the toss and elected to receive. And I know it's just the preseason, but the rookies you talk about, all 15 picks from the 2023 and 24 draft with Tampa Bay still with the team, 8 of them starters. Won't see too many of the starters throughout the course of this as Kyle Trask will get the nod at quarterback. Baker Mayfield expected to play next week. Teddy Bridgewater signed this week. We'll have more on that, but backed up by Connor Bazelak, rookie from Bowling Green, who will get an opportunity. Joey Sly has teed it up. Sean Tucker, along with Rakim Jarrett, back to receive. Remember the new kickoff rule: if it goes into the end zone untouched, all the way out to the 35. 50th year of Bucs football and the preseason happening here at Raymond James, and back from inside his goal line, it's Jarrett. What a special teams play, keeping him from reaching the 20-yard line. Kyle Trask will lead an offense with Sean Tucker opening in the backfield.
Well, you mentioned Kyle Trask in our open, Chris, and he's 5 years here now as the Tampa Bay Bucs backup quarterback. I remember a lot of those years with Tom Brady, so he wasn't even an option. But the guy has been impressive in the preseason the past 2 years. I know there's some competition at the position. That's why they brought in the 2 free agents, and it's why they also brought in Teddy Bridgewater. I want to see how he performs here tonight in his first preseason football game.
Bit of a surprise. Rashad White in the backfield, fake to him, and time for Trask, and across the 41-yard line, hauled in by Jalen McMillan.
That's a good start. We talked to Josh Grizzard, and one of the things that he mentioned to me off camera a couple of weeks ago was the guys that needed to step up. And the one that he mentioned offhand was Jalen McMillan. We know what kind of year he had at the end of last year. He's got to continue to grow because of the situation in the wide receiver room, which we'll also talk about here a little bit. Chris Godwin's still not available for this team.
Abuka, top of your screen, and straight ahead is White. And Upton carries it up to the 45-yard line. So Trask, 5th year from Florida, drafted in the 2nd round. Played in only 7 regular season games, 11 passes, and in the first 4 preseasons, pretty good numbers, over 1,600 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. And really, the backup job is his to hold on to behind Baker Mayfield.
I think that's the right way to say it, right? You bring in Teddy Bridgewater this week just because they have some depth issues. Obviously, Baker's not going to play in this game, but Kyle knows his opportunity. It's staring him right in the face.
Pickup of 3. Trask steps up again, and high, and held out to inside the 35, and there is your rookie, Emeka Abuka, the first rounder from Ohio State.
Great pedigree from Emeka Egbuka coming out of Ohio State. 5 straight receivers have been drafted in the top 20, and this guy has the record for number of yards at that university. And I tell you what, Chris, the one thing that you'll notice about him over and over again, if there's a ball in the vicinity, this dude is going to catch it.
Went up and got back for 21 yards, 6 feet, well, probably 6'1" is more accurate. Back to White straight ahead. Boy, the combo as White gets down to the 30-yard line. Opening drive continuing for the Bucs here, the 30 of Tennessee. Our keys to the game. Give them to us, Rondé, presented by Ford F-150, official truck of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, you already mentioned there won't be a lot of starters in this game, but we have to evaluate these key backups. That's the goal of every preseason. Secondly, Grizzard's groove. I love we found a alliteration to talk about this new young offensive coordinator for the Bucs. And on defense, when they get to that side, the one thing that Todd Bowles emphasizes is tackling. It was a big problem for them last year.
And just across the 29 down to the 28-yard line. For Rachaad White, you know, Bucky Irving stole the show, an outstanding rookie, and we'll get into the last couple of drafts. Jason Light and his crew, terrific work. His 4.3 yards per carry were the best of his career after he only averaged almost 3.5 as a rookie, and then 3.6 the year before that in his 4th season. But it was a good 1-2 punch. 1,000 yards from scrimmage for both him and the rookie Bucky Irving.
He has a valuable role. I mean, I know he's probably wanting to be the starting running back in this group, but as a number 2, he's as good as anybody in the league.
Trask for the sideline. It's crowded over there and complete for Egbuka. Should mention with Chris Godwin unlikely to start the regular season after that second surgery on the leg. A reason to draft him and a reason they'll be counting on him.
Well, I said he catches everything. That was actually really good.
Almost everything.
Down the sideline. But yeah, you mentioned Chris Godwin. It's uncertain, you know, whether he's back in, I mean, with regular seasons in just 4 weeks, and I don't think that he's been on the practice field yet. So it's really imperative that Emeka gets some valuable reps here in the preseason. We already saw Jalen McMillan have his big catch early in this game, but it's one of the deepest positions on the team, and there's a lot of competition there for those backup roles.
Chase McLaughlin to try from 45. The kick is through. The NFL's second most accurate kicker over the last couple of seasons gets the Bucs on the board on the opening drive.
Whether it's DIY day,
I have over 3 minutes of time, and it ends in a field goal of 45 yards for the lead. And Titans getting ready to receive. Hey, it's the Bucs. We mentioned 50th season. You've heard by now, but the home opener is a campus celebration. The 76 jersey returns September 21st, 1 o'clock, as the Bucs take on the Jets. Presented by Raymond James. Limited tickets do remain, so grab yours now at Buccaneers.com. Rain has subsided here as Trask hitting 2 out of 3 for 46 yards in that opening drive. And back to receive as McLaughlin will kick off is Jaquan Jackson and James Prochet for the Titans. It's Prochet. Cuts back and just short of the 30-yard line. Let's take a look at our WeatherTight Windows players to watch. For windows and doors done right, call WeatherTight Windows for WeatherTight Mike.
I believe Jacob Parrish is going to be a very good player for this team. He came in and grabbed his role right away. Keep an eye on him. Chris Braswell, second year, and make no mistake, this is a crucial preseason for him, especially with the fact that David Walker, the rookie, who they had high expectations for, is out with an injury. And we're going to see Elijah Roberts, the 5th-round draft pick, a little bit later. He's a very interesting prospect for this Bucs defense.
Calvin Ridley in motion. Tony Pollard, the former Cowboy, straight ahead from the 29 of Tennessee. Gets a good chunk of yardage up around the 34-yard line. And Cam Ward leads the Titans. Last time they had the first overall draft pick, they were a different franchise. The Houston Oilers and Earl Campbell, the great running back.
Yeah, he is very, very good, Chris. I saw him in practice. He as poised as he looked in college, he looks just as poised sitting back here at quarterback in the NFL. He's got a great arm. He's got great leadership skills. And, you know, all reports that we get from the Titans people next door, he is the real deal.
Extra pressure is picked up and incomplete right at the first down marker. It'll bring up a 3rd down as Jacob Parrish, someone you've been keeping an eye on, the rookie from Kansas State, 3rd rounder on the spot.
Jacob Parrish does not look like every other Bucs corner. He's 5'10", whereas Jamel Dean and Zion McCollum are all over 6 foot, 6'1", but he has been so good so far in camp. He sees that nickel job right away. I expect really, really good things from this kid. We'll talk about him a little bit later as this game goes on.
Only 21. I know you think he'll be a starter, or at least play a whole lot for this Buccaneer defense, no matter who's healthy in that loaded secondary. On third down, Ward, former Miami Hurricane, can't find anybody. Floats one and incomplete. It'll be fourth down, and Anthony Nelson was putting the pressure on from that linebacker spot.
Great first series for Todd Bowles' defense here. You got a pass defense, you got to stop on first down for good yardage, and then you get your rookie quarterback Cam Ward holding on to the football. He has to throw it away. And look, there's a lot of improvements that this defense can make. Yes, they went out and drafted a bunch of guys in the secondary because they need more takeaways. They need more pressure as well. And I think we're going to see a lot of this in the preseason. Todd trying to figure out ways to get that going.
Abuka is back to receive the punt. Boy, they're going to work him out in a hurry here. Nice high kick by the veteran Johnny Hecker. And works it out of bounds right at the 20-yard line. Yeah, the Bucs defense, it's an area Todd Bowles sensitive, wants that to improve to go with his high-powered offense. We'll get a look at that Bucs offense in just a moment, holding a 3-0 lead. After a 46-yard punt from their own 20, Bucs with the ball at a 3-0 lead. Let's take a look now at the WeatherTight Windows players to watch for windows and doors done right. Call WeatherTight Windows or WeatherTight Mike. We're looking at some of the offensive guys, Rondé.
Yeah, make no mistake, Kyle Trask feels like his job is under threat, so he needs some big game. Emeka Abuka, we've already talked about him, but he's a wow player. Chris, when you talk to this kid, you think he's 30 years old. He's been in the league forever. He hasn't. And most importantly here, Charlie Heck, the left tackle with Tristan Wirtz being out, he's going to have to show us something. And don't worry, we did not forget our cookies.
I know. You eat these in between plays. I don't know how you get
I eat
so
take a bite. Take a bite.
We did not forget the cookie. All right. Thank you. I took the bite. Are you happy? Hey, look at this. Rachaad White will pick up 4, maybe a little more. Josh Grizzard, the 35-year-old offensive coordinator. Boy, this position has been an elevator. I'm talking with my mouth full, to a head coaching job. And it's interesting, too, because he has degrees from both Yale and Duke. So he's a little bit of a brainiac. But what about for football?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's from Lizard Lick, North Carolina. If you don't know where that is, neither do I. But the guy has been elevated. That's the exact right word. He wanted to be in this position. He's only 35 years old, and he made probably his biggest jump in those last couple of years in Miami when he was under Mike McDaniels, learning how to run an offense, and he took it with him here, some of the concepts.
And Trask is taking it with himself to get the first down across the 30. Grizzard was in the passing game. Let's see if they're, yeah, it's a good enough for a first down. He was a passing coordinator here and involved in that back in Miami. And I you know, he's going to call plays for the first time. I mean, he's been going through the reps in practice, but he's on the sideline for the first couple of preseason games. Then he's going to go up to the booth, and then he'll determine the regular season how that works.
Right. I think he'll probably find that he'll like being down on the field, being able to interact with his quarterback and certainly his receivers. And look, the guy's got a great analytical mind, I think.
Here's White, makes the turn, and Rachaad White should be good enough for the first down. Boy, Grizzard dialing up the nice running game, and it is a first down.
All right, well, look, last year he spent time with Liam's staff analyzing tendencies for across the league, whether it's the shift in motions. He was a big part in helping this offense get into that gap running scheme that was so successful last year. But he also had some say on third down plays. So it's not as if he's not familiar with this offense, and most of this offense is similar to what it was last year.
And here's White again. Well, this offense, and he's part of it. Now he's running it. I mean, last year the Bucs rushed for 5.3 yards a carry. That was a team record. It broke the 4.8 record back in 2015. It was third in the NFL. So that combination, and obviously the threat of the passing game with Baker and the receivers that they have, I mean, this is a chance for him. He's got the tools to kind of show off on offense however he calls. We hope the White is okay. Wow, he goes to the bench and lies down in pain. We'll check the back end of that play. It didn't appear that it was anything serious, but that didn't look comfortable. Sean Tucker. And Tucker Tucker, running game working here across midfield.
Yeah, Sean Tucker is a very capable number 3 back. In fact, if you ask me, Sean Tucker is good enough to be a starter in this league at some level. He's had a couple of years of getting more and more opportunities, and every time he's in the game, Chris, he showcases some of his talent. He's a sprinter. He's the fastest running back on the roster, and I expect to get a big dose of him tonight, especially without Sean Tucker. Bucky will not play. And there's some other guys down this depth chart that we'll get a look at later this afternoon.
Picked up 5, third down here. The Bucs were an excellent third down team last year, and this time in this game stopped short. We'll see if they want to go for it or not. In fact, the Bucs over 50% third down conversion percentage. That was a team record too last year. Let's see if we might get a virtual, and we don't need a virtual. They're giving them the first down, meaning a virtual measurement. We're excited to have that this year with almost like a Hawkeye-looking camera view. Down a distance brought to you by Advent Health, the exclusive hospital of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So spotted at the 48 of the Tennessee Titans. The last 7 games of last year, as Trask sets up to throw again, got some time. Can't find anybody, and he's going to be sacked. 43-yard line. He had a moment. Ward brought him down. The former Viking and Raider.
Play action pass. You just need to get this ball out a little bit quicker if you're Kyle Trask. And obviously you got a bunch of backups in there, and there's a ton of movement on this offensive line in terms of guys playing a bunch of different positions. Obviously, if you talk about the Bucs offensive line, they got one of the best starting groups in football right now. Even without Tristan Wirfs, the other 4 have been really, really good players. Important games for all those guys up front trying to find some backup jobs.
Charlie Heck stepped in for Tristan Wirfs tonight and will be, at least when the regular season opens. It's Jacob Harris short of the 50. Former Ram at 49er. Get some of that yardage back. I did want to mention the last 7 games of last year, the Bucs were second in the NFL in scoring points that were per game, behind Baltimore in both categories in terms of putting up points and playing defense. As Todd Bowles wants his defense, the stats, they were what, 3rd or 4th ranked offense, depending upon what category. Defensively, the stats not very impressive, at least against the pass, right? They're pretty good against the run, as they always are. On a 3rd down, 12. Trask hesitates, throws, and the catch made a tough catch just inside the 40 by Ryan Miller. Played last year, 2nd year from Furman.
Ryan Miller had some important games last year, but
they're going to go on 4th here.
Of course they're going to go on 4th.
It's a nice play here, though.
Yeah, great play. Stay in the pocket, find the guy, contested catch, and Ryan Miller, he proved that he could do that last year. Now, there is a lot of guys in this wide receiver room. How it shakes out, I'm not sure, but there's going to be a lot of competition in these preseason games for that 5th and 6th receiver spot. Titans
will call a timeout on defense. I see what you're saying about, too, for Trask to make that decision a little quicker there, right? Regardless of what it is. And he got that out on time to Miller. And a 4th down for Tampa Bay.
Whether it's DIY day, huh?
They prepared this hurricane season with Max Defender 8 radar. It's the most accurate weather radar in Florida. You can see those stormy skies, but so far, after rain earlier, we're okay. Let's check in for an injury update with Eileen.
Yeah, guys, I saw Rachaad White kind of limp off the field. He did go into the medical tent. He will not return tonight with that groin injury. As you can see, he is being wrapped by a trainer. Again, he did come off the field, did injure that groin, and he will not return tonight, guys.
Thank you. 6 carries, 28 yards. It's a reason the starters aren't used as much in the preseason. Sean Tucker, no, it's Trask keeping on 4th down and getting the first down.
I don't think. Here are notable injuries, Chris. Obviously, we know Tristan Wirfs with his knee injury. Chris Godwin still has not returned from the ankle. Anthony Walker is a big addition in linebacker, depth guy, plays in special teams, but he'll be valuable to them. Michael Pratt was a quarterback that they brought in that they wanted to compete with Kyle Trask, but he hasn't practiced at all during training camp. And, of course, Desmond Watson is on the physically unable to perform this for a couple of reasons.
Losing some weight and trying to get into better shape. Tucker on that catch made. And Wirfs, what do you think? First month of the season, if all goes well?
Well, obviously that depends on Tristan and his timetable for return, and they'll be smart with it. You don't want that injury to be something that lingers with him the entire year. And there's Desmond Watson.
Now, worth mentioning on Watson, just over 464 pounds. The rookie from Florida signed as a free agent. Imagine him on that defense with Vita Vea, but he's got to lose some weight and get into a little better condition. And he's working on that. Flag down. Check the flag. Alan Eck and his crew.
Holding, number 70 offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
I think he said number 70 was the call. That would be the playing left tackle. In the area we're just talking about, Wirfs and Charlie Heck.
Yeah, Ben Chukwuma, who is now in for Charlie Heck at left tackle, and this kid is a very interesting story. He is as raw as they come, but he is really athletic. Who knows where he fits in? He's a free agent that Jason and his staff found coming out of college, and he's been somewhat impressive. He's got a long way to go, but you could factor into that conversation as a swing tackle.
Ryan Miller with a good catch and carry. And will be just across the 35, 36-yard line.
You know, one of the things we never talk about, Chris, in preseason is the depth of the offensive line. And I'm just looking at who's out there right now. And Elijah Klein, number 79, he's been a guard in this offense for a long, long time. But he's played snaps at tackle in camp, guard, obviously, and he's snapping right now as the first center in this football game. So keep an eye on him, because he could be one of those guys that could play all three positions. It obviously helps on game days if you have somebody that versatile.
Owen Wright is in at running back, but picks up a nice block and a low throw, but a nice throw. Good enough for the first down catch from all hands, Ryan Miller.
Like I said, Chris, this guy, all he does when you give him an opportunity is come in and make great catches. Saw the contested catch earlier in the game. This is just a simple slant through a tight window and low, and he goes down and finds a way to snatch that off the ground. You know, a guy like this, if he can find a way to be the fifth or sixth receiver, we obviously know that his value is going to be on special teams when you have a wide receiver room as deep as the one that the Bucs have. But he keeps making plays like this. He will certainly be in this conversation, and we'll go through this entire list of receivers at some point. It is a ton, and it is the deepest position according to Todd Bowles.
Played in 11 games last year. Tucker tries to get outside, turns that corner, and gets the first down. Still going. Sean Tucker down to the pylon and just out of bounds around the goal line.
What's not to love about Sean Tucker, Chris? I told you this guy has a little bit of everything. He can run in between the tackles. He's got the body size to do that. I mean, he doesn't look like Rashad White, but he's powerful. But what he has is the speed to get to this corner and breaking tackles, running around blockers. I'm always impressed when this guy touches the football.
He picked up 23 yards. And the running game here, even with some of the backup linemen, I realize backup defenders for the most part for Tennessee, but an impressive drive. Powering a little further is Sean Tucker.
It's a really good scheme. I will say that Liam Cohen last year devised a very different scheme than what we've seen in the Bucs over the past, say, 5 years, where it was a lot of gap scheme, a lot of everybody, all the offensive line moving in one direction. Now it's more change of direction. You get these gaps and you allow your running backs, which obviously benefited Bucky Irving mightily last year, to get some running lanes, and it's been very, very productive so far today.
There is Grizzard with 25 seconds and counting in this opening quarter. Tucker's the back on a second down goal. And Tucker powering, not going to get in. It's a defense that Jeffrey Simmons is not playing, but will when the regular season rolls around. Former Rams Sebastian Joseph Day, one of the guys who they are counting on up front. But that will be the end of the opening quarter. Bucs are threatening to get more. They lead the Titans by the score of 3-0. The Jabil scoreboard, bringing products to life for the world's leading brands. It's 3-0, start of the second quarter. On 3rd and goal from the 2, Sean Tucker, who got him there, gets him in for the touchdown. That's a Buccaneers score.
I love that by Josh Grizzard. Stick to the running game. Good teams, and we all know that this is the backups in here, but good teams have an intention in the red zone. And turning around and hand the ball off to your big back here, Sean Tucker, to finish that drive off was excellent play calling by Josh Grizzard. Good block. You see Keefe come around, block the end line of the line of scrimmage, and then really good push up through the middle behind Elijah Klein and those 2 guards inside there. Nice drive by Tampa.
Sean Tucker, that 23-yard run, put him down there, and then he takes it in. And a 4th down and short they had to go for that kept that drive alive, and the Buccaneers get the 45-yard field goal. Will try for the extra point, and he nails it. On the Jabil scoreboard, it's a 10-0 Buccaneer advantage. The ground game churning so far tonight, with Kyle Trask over center and Sean Taker getting 6. A 17-play drive, just under 11 minutes, and a 10-0 Buccaneer lead. The 76 jersey back for 1 season only, making its return to the field for the first time since 1976. The iconic look debuts at the home opener, so don't miss your chance to own a piece of history. Available now at the Bucs team store and online at shopbuccaneers.com. Let's check in for more on Sean Tucker with Eileen.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, fun fact about Sean Tucker. He told me earlier this week he actually cuts his own hair. He's his own barber. And a lot of his teammates have found this out, and they've been asking him, hey, man, can you cut my hair too? Like, yours looks pretty good. And he says, no, I'm not comfortable with that just yet. I don't want to, be responsible for a bad cut. But Mr. Barber, I hear you have some similarities in this field. Is this on your resume, right? It leads the resume?
Right, just because it's on the back of my jersey doesn't mean that I am an actual barber. However,
you're a barber.
I actually did cut my hair in high school as well.
Well, you had.
And then it just...
I could, if you give me a discount, you could try mine.
I am not touching your hair.
Oh, okay.
No chance.
All right, I'm afraid to touch it. But how about Sean Tucker? The guy does so much well.
Right.
And they call it nickname RB3. And you talked about his speed. He's behind 2 guys who had outstanding seasons last year.
Right, he's RB3 only because we have a very good RB1 and an RB2.
He has 32 yards rushing and 6 carries tonight, including the touchdown. Remember, Rashad White left with a groin injury, and Bucky Irving is not playing, just resting here after the touchback out to the 35. So that ball reached the end zone. Cam Ward with great starting field position and wide open at the middle of the field is Calvin Ridley, who gets down inside the 40 of Tampa Bay.
Well, you got a bunch of young guys on the field. This defense was completely out of whack before the start of that play. You'll see that Jacob Parrish was on the wrong side of the field. You could tell there were some guys not knowing where they wanted to be, and that's why this passing lane was wide open for Calvin Ridley. And this Titans offense, Calvin Ridley is going to be a scary player if Cam Ward ends up being the quarterback that we think he is. Calvin Ridley, in practice this week, it was almost uncomfortable a couple of times.
Yeah, fresh attitude, former first-rounder from Alabama, Falcons, and then Jags. And there's a flip out to Tyler Lockett. These names familiar because a flag comes in late, the longtime Seattle Seahawk.
Yeah, they made some additions, some good additions into their wide receiver room. Tyler Lockett, of course, we all know him watching him out in Seattle, but they also brought in Van Jefferson to be the 3rd receiver on that roster.
Pass interference, number 0 defense. Offense, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
And then they also brought in DK, who they drafted.
Or Gator.
Yeah, former Gator. And a couple of other players that have been really showcasing in this Brian Callahan offense.
And they have Xavier Restrepo from Miami, who was a teammate of Cam Ward's, as Callahan. Again, his father, Bill Callahan, coaching on the offensive line for so many years, controlled such a great ground game, had that Raider team took over when John Gruden, Bill Callahan, his father, lost to the Bucs in the Super Bowl. Ward fires and over and completed to Ridley, just over Parrish. Looked like he was back there in position, but floated nicely by the first overall pick, Ward.
Plays like this are just experienced base. He's a flat defender, and I tell you, when you're playing that nickel position, you're a flat defender. You almost always got to play it deep to short. And because he was at the line of scrimmage, we also tell ourselves, don't let your disguise. He was obviously a disguise there at the line of scrimmage, get in the way of you making a play, and he was just a step late to that pass to Calvin Ridley.
On second down, Ward, and the catch made by Ridley. And good enough for a first down.
You can see the comfort level with this rookie quarterback and Calvin Ridley. I think every pass on this drive has gone to number 0, and he's getting the favorable matchup. He's working on a rookie there, Jacob Parrish, running a cross route from the other side of the field. He's not able to keep up with him.
5 seasons in college. He has the Division I record, 156 touchdown passes for Cam Ward, and over 18,000 yards. Set of downs from the 25 of Tampa Bay. Pollard will go nowhere. We'll get Braswell, who is called one of the toughest guys on that defense by Todd Bowles. Meanwhile, the Titans coming off the 3-win season. That's how they got the top pick. And I talked about their head coach who came over from Cincinnati, where he called the offense with Joe Burrow.
Right. And they were not very good last year. Clearly in rebuilding mode, and they're still somewhat in that space now. You know, Callahan's got his work cut out for him, especially starting a rookie quarterback, and that's the importance of these preseason games. You got a first pick of the overall, number 1 pick in the draft overall. You could put a lot of pressure and expectations on his shoulder, and he's got to get some reps against some big boys here.
Play clock down to 1 just in time, and the pass almost intercepted by Josh Hayes. I saw you jump up and down like you were going for it.
I almost jumped out. This is cover 2, right? Reroute in the flat, and then great job by Josh Hayes. Once you get that initial contact, forcing that receiver release outside, you got to drop your hip and chase underneath it. Those are the fun interceptions, the ones where the quarterback has no business throwing it, and he almost took one away from the rookie quarterback.
Josh Hayes, a former Kansas Stater. Crowded convention factor, and the crowd getting into this on 3rd down 9. See if they bring a little extra heat on Ward. And he throws, just looked like that might be enough inside the 15. Chig Okonkwo, line end from Maryland, and that's good enough for the first down.
Well, this is an example, Chris, of the Bucs being pretty basic, right? They're just playing zone coverage, 4-man rush. You know, in the regular season, that Todd Bowles is not sending a 4-man rush on 3rd and 8. He's gonna bring as much pressure as he can. And when you get these young players playing in the secondary here, those underneath defense positions, those are the hardest ones to teach, to learn how to cover up those zones. And Cam Ward makes a nice throw to get the first down.
Elijah Cansey led the team in sacks last year at 7.5. Spears carries, and Vita Vea had 7 sacks, but that's an area Hassan Reddick, the veteran, was signed to help improve, obviously not playing tonight.
Right, we haven't talked about Hassan Reddick, but I think he'll greatly improve that pass rush from the edge. And Chris Braswell is one of our players to watch, number 43 there, and there's a reason. He's got an opportunity now to get in the rotation as one of those edge guys. We know we have Yaya Diaby, who will mostly probably play on the left side because Hassan Reddick prefers to be on the left side of the defense. And so I expect some big things from Chris Braswell this season. He needs it.
Collision there in the backfield as Tajay Spears, former Tulane star, carries, and Adam Gotsis, 10-year veteran coming over from the 49ers, a new Buck, in on the tackle. It'll bring down 3rd down and 6 from the 10-yard line. Good look at Mike Green wearing number 91, following
Deion Jones there in the middle linebacker. Interestingly, Chris, Savasier Dennis, who is the presumptive starting inside linebacker, is playing with this group, and he's had a bunch of injuries over the first couple of years. And I think they're trying to get a look and make sure that he is as good as they think he's going to be.
Ward floats one and perfectly timed to lock it. And a first down and goal to go for the Titans. Ward 5 out of 8 so far in his NFL debut.
This little opposite high-low is just a crossing route, and once he gets to the other side of the ball, Jacob Parrish, who was covering man-to-man from the other side of the field again, is beat on a little crossing route. And trust me, I know I'm talking a lot about Jacob Parrish, but he's getting a lot thrown at him right now. It's different when you're playing in practice and when you get out in a real football game and you got to go out and make these plays when they've certainly targeted him.
Tony Pollard waits for the block, pushes down to inside the 1-yard line. Dennis, third year from Pitt. They need a little more out of him.
Well, yeah, they've rotated that position a lot next to Levante David. There's at least 3 or 4 guys that played last year. It's why they brought in Anthony Walker Jr. To add some depth to that position. I think later in the game we're going to see some young guys, John Bullock and Nick Jackson, who Todd Bowles has talked a lot about. But it's interesting that Savasier Dennis is getting these snaps here in the second quarter as a starter.
Pollard, grabbed by Izien, and he's in for the touchdown. Christian Izien had him by the ankles, it looked like, but enough for Pollard to cross the goal line and give Tennessee the touchdown.
This is almost a great play by 29, Christian Izien right here. He gets him on the ground there. It's a great stop, but not enough oomph, I guess, if you will, to get him on the ground before Tony Pollard gets into the end zone. Interesting looking at Tennessee's offense last year, Chris. It was Calvin Ridley and Pollard. Everybody else was about as average as you can possibly be on offense. Those 2 guys had 1,000 yards each, one receiving, one running the football. And so you know where the strength of this offense is going to be, those 2 players.
Joey Slye, the extra point for Tennessee. And it's a 10-7 game. Yeah, the Titans, the offense wasn't all that bad statistically, ranking 12th in yards gained. They come back a bit. They trail by 3 in Tampa Bay.
Number 1 draft picked overall from this organization. The man that set the tone for what this organization has been all about for so many years is great defense. Our first Hall of Famer, our first Ring of Honor recipient. What a stud.
And the 50 greatest players, there's a lot of discussion about that, getting in the top 10, top 5.
Whether it's DIY day,
Yard day.
Game day.
Yeah, it's game day. Birthday.
Advent Health keeps you ready for every day and for everything that makes you feel whole. Exclusive hospital of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, you know, growing up in Florida, I mean, you talk about uniforms, whatever the record was, Selman, the defense, you knew that you were going to see that. Whatever game, whatever opponent they were playing, that's continued through the years among the great players, great memories. 50-year anniversary, 50th season, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. From the 35, Owen Wright gets a carry. Owen Wright, the second-year running back from Monmouth, former Baltimore Raven, added when Josh Williams, the rookie free agent from LSU, was lighting it up a little bit in camp, but then had a little bit of an injury, and he's not active tonight.
Yeah, Josh Williams, I think a lot of guys in the front office were looking to get a look at Josh Williams, and unfortunately he's not going to play tonight. But you got Owen Williams, who's primarily been a, kind of a special teams type of player, but he has some running ability now. He's given an opportunity. This guy is really quick and shifty. We'll see if he'll get his opportunity here tonight, showcase some of his skill.
Trask has to get rid of it, and the catch is made. That's Ryan Miller again, having a big night. What a hard out.
Kyle Trask is under some serious duress, throwing a fadeaway here, and be able to keep his eyes downfield and find this connection was really, really impressive. Ryan Miller, yeah, we can keep talking about him, but look at this throw. 2 guys in his face, lets it delivered right on target to 81. Another big game for Kyle Trask and Miller.
4th catch of the game for Miller to the 41 of Tennessee. 8 out of 9 is Kyle Trask so far. We'll update that. The latest completion. The snap gets away, and Trask just has to fall on it. A horrible mess for this Bucs offense. Jalen Harrell got back there just as Trask was on the football.
Like I talked about Elijah Klein, he's been a guard. Like he's just getting an opportunity to play center because of, trying to find the rotation on that offensive line. I mean, there's other, we signed Jake Majors as a undrafted free agent coming out of school this year, but it's interesting that Elijah Klein's getting the first shot to be the center here tonight.
After a loss of 18, they give it to Owen Wright. Well, Ben Bredesen, right, who's the left guard, they tried him a little. I know Todd Bowles was talking about just having some people that in a game if they needed to slide over to that center spot. But, when the season starts, you're going to have Graham Barton. What a terrific draft pick he was a year ago from Duke, and Gedeke and Malk, and then hopefully when Wirfs is healthy 4 or 5 games.
Well, all these guys, Klein, you see Ben Scott there. He's also a rookie. They're all cross-training, if you will. A lot of them are playing guard and center. A lot of them are playing guard and tackle. Just trying to find the right combination of guys that can make this depth chart look better for this Bucs offensive line when the season starts.
Dump it off. That's right. Won't go anywhere on 3rd and 25. So we'll see the Bucs punter Riley Dixon come out, the veteran from Syracuse, originally a Bronco, teams in between. Back with Denver last year.
Well, they had a lot of problems at punter last year, Chris. As I think they went through 4 or 5 punters last year, starting with Jake Camarda and on down the line. And Riley Dixon's got a pretty impressive career over the course of, I think, his 10th year, right? This is in the league, and hopefully solidify this position. Big leg, I know that.
And drops it into the end zone. A reliable veteran who also has had a pretty good completion percentage on fake punts throwing the football, but I know he wanted to drop it inside the 5 instead of the touchback. 4:30 a.m. on News Channel 8. Hey, time for tonight's trivia. The 50-year anniversary. Our question is brought to you by Lexus. Experience amazing. And we're gonna work our way up with this. Who were the 4 quarterbacks, the only 4 to start an NFC Championship game for the Tampa Bay Bucs? A couple of them are real easy.
Yep, a couple of them are easy.
Yeah, but then there's, the real Buc fans will get that 4th one. We'll give you the answer if you stay with us throughout the broadcast. We're going to have more trivia questions throughout the preseason and this 50-year celebration of the franchise. Brandon Allen is now in at quarterback. And Spears carries a big defensive play for Tampa Bay. Josh Hayes almost had an interception coming up to make the play.
Yeah, he comes and slices right through this defense. In man line of scrimmage, just blitzing. It's a little corner blitz. He finds his way inside the tackle and made my name doing a lot of that. I had a bunch of tackles for loss in my career, making plays like that.
A lot of years helped you on your way to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We saw you up there quite a bit since you were at Tryon, helping out other people, introducing people, a goodwill ambassador for the league and the Bucs. After a loss of 5, Allen. In the last moment. Jacob Parrish. In 2023 at Kansas State, he had his best year with 4 interceptions. Former running back and receiver. He was in high school.
He's a good player. He's obviously playing outside corner right now, and that's one of the things that Todd Bowles was most impressed about Jacob Parrish. Yes, they have been slotted kind of play that nickel position, but he would also be an option outside. Just made a great drive on an out-breaking route there to get that pass breakup.
Quickly, it's 3rd and 15. Allen dumps it off to Spears. Slips through and just short. As you can see, the line for the first down. Rashad Wisdom made the tackle. 4th down, under 4 minutes to go.
We talk a lot about tackling, right? Tackling has more to do with angles than anything else. And watch the number of Bucs guys that kind of allow that lane to open by getting out of the right tackling angle. Is there a flag?
Yeah, they're marching them back, and it looked like, let's hear what the call is.
Game clock.
They're going to reset the game clock.
Thank you.
Well, I have no idea what happened there, but the reality is Todd Bowles talks about tackling, and it's always about angles. Anybody can put their body on somebody and get them to the ground, but angles become a problem, and it was a problem for this Bucs defense. It's something that they've been grinding on all preseason and offseason to make sure those type of plays don't happen to this Bucs defense in 2025.
It was an illegal man downfield, but the call came against Tennessee, so that's why it marked off.
Well, is it?
Is it? Are they reviewing? Are they checking? Now, this is something I believe that once the replay assist is saying maybe wasn't illegally downfield. And so replay assist this year has been expanded to a number of other things that can help an officiating crew. The idea is to get it right. If we had more time, we'd probably show you, but it's probably not worth it. The bottom line is it's 4th down. And Alan X says, let's go ahead and move this along. Eric Green, the former quarterback, the receiver now from West Virginia, back to receive the punt. Pecker moves this inside the 20 of the Bucs, and straight ahead goes Green. Oh, hit high as he slides down at the 35. And the flag comes in.
Well, interesting you say replay assist, because that flag came in where it's going to be a face mask. Replay assist can only, Chris, affect plays that have been called on the field. So if this isn't a face mask, and I don't know because I haven't seen it, let's see. Now that's going to be a face mask, I think. But we'll see what replay assist says. So,
Personal foul, face mask, number 57 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the return. 1st down, Tampa Bay. Timeout.
On the return, the penalty will add 15. Bucs on offense in a moment. The ball. Hey, how are you? Thanks for coming out. And now in Tennessee territory after that great return by Green and the penalty.
the only thing I don't like about that picture, she's got a blue tongue. She's wearing Bucs. She's got a blue tongue.
So, hey, how Teddy Bridgewater showing up at the Bucs? Yeah, they signed him as a bit of a surprise with the Michael Pratt injury and giving Baker Mayfield some rest. The 11-year veteran, originally from Miami, and not quite ready to play, but there he is in a uniform. We may see him this preseason.
Yeah, I think we'll see him this preseason. Todd told us, and he jokes, is like, we're not going to put him out there sight unseen. I mean, we're not know if he's ready to get deep into our playbook yet. So I'm pretty sure we'll see him at some point in the next 2 games.
Yeah, and battling Trask, who has looked good tonight in that backup role behind Baker Mayfield. But the replay assist after that return by Green, they did help out in terms of setting where the yardage was and getting the play right.
Right. If you guys didn't see it because we were in the commercial break, but they left the flag and the ball spotted at the down spot. And then a couple of minutes right before we came back on air, they moved it to 15 yards. So replay assist did confirm that it was in fact a face mask.
Now I like that the NFL, look, if we're all seeing it, they're trying to get it right using technology. Walt Anderson back there in the command center with help. And we have cameras now in stadiums that are in permanent locations. Trask firing, and across the middle, that's who else? Ryan Miller. And the rule change is just a quick update. He's short of the first down. We know about the kickoff at the 35 in the end zone. Obviously, overtime, you at least get, each team will get a possession there.
That's a big one right there.
Yeah, you could have one team take a 10-minute drive, and that would end the game if that were to happen. Onside kicks, any time, but the kicking team has to be trailing. And the Hawkeye technology to help, that's the virtual spotting or measurement, I should say. The official still spots the ball. And the cameras are set up at boundary positions as right carries. Throughout all stadiums, there's a dozen cameras, 4K cameras to help. And even if it's not on the TV broadcast, it'll be in the command center. They'll show it in the stadium, and then they'll make sure we get it on television so they get the spot right. And on those big calls on the boundaries, goal lines, etc.
Absolutely. I have nothing to add to that. Well said.
Okay. All right. What we have here is a 4th and a yard. Remember their touchdown drive.
This is a 2-minute
warning. They did go on 4th to continue that drive and eventually punched it in as Trask has played very good. Oh, they're going. For the best Bucs coverage all season long, stay with News Channel 8, your official Bucs station. Well, on a 4th and short, if they were going to kick a field goal, it would be a 57 or 58 yarder. And I bring that up, Rondé, because Cam Little of the Jacksonville Jags kicked a 70-yard field goal tonight that is going viral.
That's pretty awesome.
That is, I mean, the kickers today from the distance, and now with the 35, if there's a touchback, I mean, you're going to see more of that. 70 yards. In this case, they want the first, and they will get it on a penalty if the call is against Tennessee. And Ward shaking his head, looks like he might have been the guilty party here.
Neutral zone infraction, number 73, defense. The 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
It was on Josiah Bronson, not Ward.
Good job, Haggard. Comes over, touch him. And a great hard count by Kyle Trask to get those 5 yards. I would have liked to have seen a 57-yard field goal. I mean, not that we need it. We know what Chase McLaughlin is as a kicker. He's one of the most storied ones in the Bucs history now after the past couple of years.
Yeah, he had a 57-yarder his career long. Tied that pass incomplete for the tight end, Devin Colton. By the way, that's the third penalty on the Titans. The Buccaneers, just one penalty. That was something during the practice and scrimmages through the week. I know Todd Bowles said we want them working on that. We don't want flags out there.
Well, if you're from an offensive perspective, you're Josh Grizzard in his first time calling plays. All you want is clean execution. You want the operation to be as basic as possible so you guys can go out and line up and play, and you can evaluate them. You don't want the penalties to be such a big hampering. And remember the one real negative play with the bad snap by Elijah Klein.
Sean Tucker, big first quarter. Down and Distance brought to you by Advent Health, the exclusive hospital of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Third down, 1:49 to go before the half. And Tennessee uses their second timeout with Rondé Barber. Eileen Natchuk down on the sideline. You'll see her at halftime with highlight stats and updates. And she'll catch up with Coach Todd Bowles when we go to the half. I'm Chris Myers. Great to be with you again for the 50th season of Buccaneer football. Another preseason here, calling games with WFLA, News Channel 8. And across the Buccaneers preseason television radio network. On the radio network side, the great Gene Deckerhoff has called the Bucs for 37 years. Saw him before the game, as fired up as he says.
The best highlights of all time are been narrated by Gene Deckerhoff.
Oh, when he called, I think, a Mike Allstott runs. I mean, just a lot of fun. And we appreciate your loyal support through the years. As you said, thick and thin. Trask with a quick toss. Green will have the first down.
I think this is a great story, this kid Green. He quarterback at West Virginia. He was a dual threat quarterback. Obviously throwing the football, but he was great with the ball in his hands as a runner too. And he's made this transition to wide receiver pretty seamlessly now. I know that he's had some struggles probably getting onto the practice field with how deep the wide receiver room is. But a guy like this, making a position change, getting an opportunity to play in the preseason, that is what these games are all about. 5
catches tonight, 63 yards. Tucker smothered by the Titans defense with the ball. We heard the whistle. Titans are acting as if the ball came out. The official pointing that he's down, and they still have the football. If there was a review, it's inside of 2 minutes, it'll be an official review. Calling his plays for the first time in the NFL. Boy, from Dave Canales to Liam Cohen, 1 year calling plays with the Bucs of this offensive talent, and boom, head coach. And that may be something down the road for Josh Grizzard. Right inside the 20, and the clock will run. Third down. And timeout used again by the Buccaneers this time.
4 drives so far tonight, Chris. 7 plays and a field goal, 17 plays and a touchdown. And mentioned the one play where they had the bad snap is the only one they haven't really got down into the scoring area. But when you look at all that comprehensively, I would say this Kyle Trask-led offense has done a pretty good job tonight. He is 10 of 12, 116 yards. He's been very efficient with the football, but more importantly, and I think encouraging to Kevin Carberry, the offensive line coach, is that this run game has been excellent.
And they've run for more than 80 yards. Rashad White did get the start. Sean Tucker came in. Trask even ran a couple of times. And And Tucker remains the back. There's the group up front, pushing their way forward as Trask fires. Near the 10, jumped back. Not expected of the second-year tight end. Maybe the big receiving target as Cade Auden is not playing tonight.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Tight end is one of those positions. It's not very deep. I mean, Cade Auden had a kind of a breakout year last year. He got most of his work, if you will, once those receivers went down. When Mike Evans was down, Chris Godwin was down, and he really kind of shined. Payne Durham is more of a do everything type of tight end for this franchise, but the reality is a guy like Devin Culp, who is more of a receiving type of player, could find a role on this team when you need him. Tanner Tula is also on this roster, but I think Devin Culp is the player that this offense is really looking to elevate himself in the preseason here and earn some spots.
And open it up with all the receivers and those talented back. Keith, great blocker and H-back, whatever. Called the toughest player of this offense by his head coach. Look at Trask focusing in. On first and goal, 23 seconds before the half. The pass out of bounds is called.
Here's this depth chart we just mentioned. Cade Auden, he had a little tweak in his hamstring, so he's not going to play. Hopefully you get to see him next week. Payne Durham, who had 2 touchdowns last year. I mean, what really wasn't his role, but you can see it's pretty thin. You know, you got Coach Keefe, who was primarily a blocker, and then there's Culp. And I don't know how many they plan to keep. Last year they kept 4. If they keep 4 again, I mean, that's the depth chart. So keep an eye on 82 as he's going to probably play a lot the rest of this football game.
Trash, it's deflected and incomplete. It'll be 3rd and goal. 1 timeout remaining for the Bucs. Tennessee also has one. The Titans will receive the ball to start the second half. Considering that we didn't see the first unit offensive line, or we didn't see Mike Evans and Tez Johnson, the exciting speedster drafted with Emeka Egbuka, who did have that 1 catch. The offense has done well.
This is probably Kyle Trask's last play of the game. Honestly, I'm just saying.
You sound like a Buccaneer fan watching this.
I want to see a touchdown before the half.
All right, Ryan, there's a flag that flies, and he's going for it, but it's knocked away. Target. Mike Brown on the coverage from Miami of Ohio, former Cleveland Brown. Looks like the Bucs will be penalized. Maybe that jinxed it.
Illegal shift, offense. 2 men were in motion and both did not get set. The penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
So Chase McLaughlin will come out. He made from 45 in the opening drive of the game. Bucs touchdown came from Sean Tucker. And unfortunate for Tampa Bay and this offense that they couldn't get more. It's like Josh Grizzard going up. You know, he speaks softly, but it seemed like he was a little intense there with his quarterback.
I think he's got some intensity to him.
Gonna have, right?
Todd Bowles has some pretty good clips on talking about Josh Grizzard. Yale guy, but act like a Yale.
There you go. The field goal, like almost an extra point is good.
Not that I know what a Yale guy acts like. Just saying.
You hang out with a few of those Ivy League types. I've seen you. And hey, we want to say hello to all the Buck fans joining us on News Channel 8, and our coverage of the Bucks is always in Tampa, Orlando, West Palm, Fort Myers, Panama City, Pensacola, Mobile, wherever you're watching, and those that may catch us on the NFL Network, celebrating 50 years for a franchise that had been through a lot, I think. McLaughlin. Jackson on the return. And Jackson up across the 31-yard line. Second half, we'll hear from Bucky Irving here in our headset interview. Always fun to talk to the dedicated rookie who had the night off. But we're gonna see him and Baker and some of the regulars in Pittsburgh next Saturday night. The Todd Bowles of the Bucks take on Aaron Rodgers of the Steelers. You'll see that game here, of course. Titans run out the clock, receive to start the second half. And we'll cover the trivia question and more on the celebration of this Buccaneer franchise. The last 5 years have been the most successful years in terms of wins. You had a Super Bowl win in there. By the way, the Bucs and the Ravens, the only teams in NFL history that have 2-0 records, perfect records in the Super Bowl. Let's go down to Eileen, who's with Coach Todd Bowles.
All right, guys. Coach, you just saw your players for the first time in live game action, including offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard. What stood out to you in that first half?
I thought they did a good job, especially holding the clock in 2 minutes right there. Kyle made some good throws early and some timely throws to some receivers down the field, so that was good to see.
What do you want to see more in the second half?
Just consistency, so lack of penalties. I like to get more short yardage plays that we can push them off the ball a little better.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Eileen, with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, and you just cranking it up. Preseason football from Raymond James Stadium. A little timeout update with highlights, updates, and we'll look forward to the second half to bring it to you from Tampa Bay. Chris Myers, thanks for being with us. 50-year celebration continues here. We started off with the Bucs in the preseason. Boy, the running game, I mean, they outran 87 rush yards for Tampa Bay, just 7 for the Titans, and then they controlled the ball on the clock as well.
I think Kyle Trask was impressive, but more so was that running game. A bunch of backups at offensive line. Sean Tucker showcasing why he's probably better than RB3 in a lot of people's teams. But we're at the point in this game now, Chris, going to the second half, where guys are going to get their first opportunity to play professional football and get a chance to showcase what they can do for this football team. And that gets me excited. I mean, I remember being in this position, getting your first couple of looks for your coaches and your team, and we get the chance to highlight them tonight. I'm really excited about this second half.
Yeah, you were a third rounder that went on to a Hall of Fame career. Todd Bowles hoping to find a gem here, and it's just great to have the smell of football in the air, even though smelling salts are not in the air necessarily.
Oh, well done there.
Well done, at least unless you bring your own. Ryan Coe is gonna kick it off. McLaughlin hit that 45-yard field goal to get the Bucs going, and they have not trailed since. Backing up at the 2-yard line. DK, the former Gator, up across the 30-yard line. Brandon Allen follows Cam Ward, who started. He came in the second quarter. And we'll see, Tampa Bay's defense. They played a lot of different people, and I know you're talking about Jacob Parrish. A couple of plays he was moving around on, but showed that he belongs, as Benjamin Morrison, also the rookie from Notre Dame, not playing tonight in the secondary. Apologize if the audio is cutting in and out on the microphones here.
Yeah, a lot of new guys out on the field now, Chris, in the second half on this defense. The guy who's still out there, though, is Chris Braswell, number 43. And Shiloh Sanders, one of the hopefuls for this Bucs roster spot. And dive into that depth chart secondary here in a minute.
25-year-old rookie from Colorado. Allen's in trouble. And throws. Good attempt at that. Seymour DK, fourth rounder from University of Florida, couldn't haul that in, but Marquise Watts is the one who put the pressure on Allen.
Oh, Marquise Watts has been here a couple of years. He's another guy that we keep talking about edge pressure, and that's really one of the emphases on this defense is finding guys that can pressure off the edge. And Watts has had some pretty good preseasons here. Has that translated to the regular season? Not yet. But because they've had some depth issues here, keep an eye on him, see how much of this opportunity he's able to capture. Third down.
Extra pressure is picked up for a moment, and the catch made across midfield. Gunnar Helm, rookie tight end from Texas, hauls that in from Brandon Allen. Allen in his 9th year from Arkansas, originally drafted by Jacksonville. Signed a 1-year contract with Tennessee, his 6th NFL team. Inside the 35-yard line, Julius Chestnut, his 4th season. Pollard and Spears carried much of the ground game for Tennessee in the first half. So the secondary is loaded. The two, I guess, most talented, overloaded positions in terms of personnel when everybody's healthy, receiver and defensive back on this
definitely
Bucs team.
Corner. And safety is one of those areas, though, that isn't. You know, Antoine Winfield Jr. will be hopefully making a triumphant return to the form that led him to become the highest paid defensive back in history a couple of years ago. Tyke Smith, who was the starting nickel last year for the Bucs, is moving into that strong safety role. And there was a battle at corner. Obviously, Zion McCollum at one, Jamel Dean at the other. Benjamin Morrison, who's been hurt in training camp, was challenging for that right corner spot. But when you look at the bottom part of this depth chart here, it could be any of those guys. Christian Izien is kind of a do-everything kind of player, number 29. And Shiloh Sanders, who is in this game right now, is one of the guys competing for that last spot.
After a first down, here's Allen, pressure coming, and has to get rid of it right away. In his face, not a lot of room. Just mentioned Shiloh Sanders, and he came in from his defensive back spot.
We know he can do this. The one thing he is very good at is running and hitting. And you know, talk to Todd Bowles, and it's the one thing he says he wants to see from all of his young guys. It's not about the X's and O's so much as it's about run, hitting, and tackling. And he's going to get an opportunity here tonight in the next 2 preseason games to show if he can unseat one of those guys on the depth chart ahead of him.
Very versatile, son of Dion, brother of Shadur. On a 2nd down 10. 6-point Buccaneer lead. They've led from their opening drive. Allen fires incomplete. Looks like a little bit of a mix-up with his running back Chestnut out there. So Zion McCollum, just back to the secondary, he's probably your best cover guy, right? Single cover guy, would you
I think so. I think he came into his own last year, and to me, this is a huge year for Zion. You know, can he take it to the next level, if you will, start creating some takeaways, find that consistency that makes you one of the top corners in the league? I think Jamel Dean is a guy that's probably under the most amount of stress. He needs a good year this year. He's had his ups and downs. He's been injured a bunch. And so that's why they made the additions in the secondary through the draft with Benjamin Morrison and Jacob Parrish.
Yeah, he had the hamstring. He's probably the fastest defender out there, Dean, along with Parrish. And that pass is caught. And he's going to get a first down to the 17-yard line of Tampa Bay. Bryce Oliver, free agent from Youngstown State.
This is a good throw by Brandon Allen here. This is Vildor. He was a free agent that came in last year. Man, that ball was placed perfectly. Really good coverage by Vildor, but the ball was just perfectly on time and in that pocket for that completion.
So the nickel position, and I know we had Izzy and we had different people there that Todd Bowles likes to move around.
Yeah, Jacob Parrish is really the first true corner that's been in that position for a long time. All those other guys are basically safety body types. And I say that because right now in the game, one of the guys that's really been making a case for himself is number 36 right there, J.J. Roberts, the rookie free agent, who is really a safety. And now if you want to say where he's competing, it's at safety. And that's one of the reasons why Shiloh Sanders has so much competition back there, because this guy can do everything. He can play nickel, he can play safety. If you probably put him in a pinch, he can play corner. So as you continue to watch Bucs through these next 2 weeks, keep an eye on some of these guys down the roster that can do multiple things to see how they are in their position.
Bowles, when it comes to the nickel back position, see here, Chestnut here, and short's going to be a third down. And he tosses nickel backs around like they're pennies, but he's trying to make the best secondary he can.
He wants guys that can tackle in the run game. You know, they don't play a ton of man-to-man coverage. It's been some of the liability of having some safeties in that position in the coverage aspect, but he wants guys that can tackle.
Got a good tackle there, forcing the third down from the 9-yard line. The Titans need a yard.
There's J.J. Roberts, and there's Jacob Parrish, the rookie from Kansas State. Josh Hayes next to him had a couple of good plays. Who's also in the game here is Jackson right there, number 53. He's third and short. Let's see how he reacts here.
And the defensive line on Mullins, the rookie from Michigan, is going to be short. There wasn't anywhere for him to run.
Nowhere for him to go there, and that's indicative of this Bucs defense. Regardless of who's in there, they have a really good scheme up front. They run a 4-3 defense now, so there's always a nose tackle, 2 interior defensive linemen, defensive ends, if you will, and then they have the edge players, and it makes it really hard to run in between the tackles here in Tampa Bay.
Todd Bowles, he speaks softly, carries a big attitude when it comes to defense. On 4th down, it's going to be a long, we'll say 2.5 yards. To that line, not official. Allen going to throw, and wow, was he? I think he was just throwing that away or up for grabs, but the Bucs defense taking a stand and keeping the Titans out of the end zone and off the scoreboard. 13-7. Tampa Bay knocks on offense.
Private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Bucs with the lead. Connor Bazelak, rookie from Bowling Green, is coming in at quarterback, the undrafted free agent. Raise the flags to be part of Tampa Bay's biggest party. The 50th season of the Bucs. Limited season passes remain for the historic season and year ahead. Join the crew today at Buccaneers.com. And great coverage of the Bucs on a regular basis on Buccaneers.com with player interviews, press conferences, stats, storylines. Inside his own 10, Owen Wright the back. He gets the football met hard right away and can't go anywhere. Bazelak, and that's how he likes it pronounced. He said they mispronounced it for years in college, adding an extra syllable. Played 6 seasons of college football, the final 2 at Bowling Green. It was 3 years at Missouri, but his total college career around 53 starts, 66 touchdown passes, led the MAC with over 3,000 pass yards in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, 12,000 yards passing over his college career is pretty impressive. Now, he came in here as probably not the guy they were expecting to be the challenger. Michael Pratt was that guy, but he's been hurt the entirety of camp and really haven't seen much from him. So he's going to get an opportunity here in preseason to get some good looks.
Handing off again to Wright for the 3rd down. His best passing yards game in college, he threw for over 400 yards at Missouri, and it was against LSU back in 2020. Yeah, that deserves a wow.
Absolutely it does. You know, the one thing about him, and you'll notice this, he's got a very high IQ. So when he gets an opportunity to throw this football, just pay attention to how he processes. He does not have a big arm. He's not like Kyle Trask or Baker Mayfield who can zip balls into tight windows. But he is very good at finding open receivers and delivering an on-time football.
He'll be tested here with a quick toss on 3rd down 11 to Ryan Miller. It'll be 4th down. Miller had a big first half, and he's slow getting up. Rashad White, remember, who started the game, left with an injury. Eileen reported on that. It looked like more of a groin problem. We hope that Miller is okay. Bucs will be lining up to punt, protecting the lead here in the 3rd quarter. Riley Dixon getting ready to punt. 13-7, Bucs leading. Talking about 50 years of the franchise, I want to wish Brian Ford, his wife Judy, Chief Operating Officer of the Bucs, a happy anniversary. 36 years this week, his high school sweetheart.
It's so convenient that every preseason we get to.
Yes, it falls perfectly. I'm sure he liked it that way.
I love it.
More than 2 decades with the Buccaneers for him. And the family supporting his hard work. And on the return, this is Brosset, who slips a tackle. There's a flag down, and eventually he goes down at the 31-yard line. It was a 53-yard punt.
During the return, holding, receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Now let's welcome in Bucky Irving for a sideline conversation presented by Audible Hearing Centers. Hear better, connect better. He led all rookies last year. Over 1,100 rush yards. That was 10th in the NFL. Had 8 rushing touchdowns and averaged 5.4 yards a carry. That's a Bucs record.
All right, Bucky, the only question I have is, how are you going to follow that up?
You said how I'm going to follow up from last season?
Yeah, follow up those numbers that Chris just spouted off.
You go into the year, you're not really thinking about last year. Like I always say, man, that's in the past. I could just go out here each and every week this season and give it my all and see what we in at the season.
So last year was a sensation, man. We all got to watch you in the preseason, knew that there was something special there, but once that season got rolling and you turned into the player that you knew you could be, what was it that made your transition to the NFL so comfortable?
Just being able to, it's always different when you coming in and translation from college to the NFL. I mean, you just leaning on the older guys that was in my room to pretty much give me the confidence and to go out there and know that I could play at this level. But just being able to go out there, coaches throwing me in the game, trusting me, and then me just being present and when my number is called, go out there and do what I do for my team.
Y'all had a really, really robust running game last year, not only with you, but with Rashad White, Sean Tucker when he got his opportunity. Tell me what you think it is, whether it's the offensive line, whether it's the play calling. What is it that really sprung that success in the running game? Because you don't know this, but Tampa struggled running the football for years. But when you got here, it really exploded.
Just trusting them guys up front, getting the communication and practice, and that's being able to go out there and execute at a high level. But like I said, in that room, we play for one another. We all love each other, and when our number is called, we go out there and help each other back.
How has Josh Grizzard changed anything, or is it the same? Y'all looking to have the same type of scheme this year, or is it making any adjustments with the new play caller?
He put his bits and pieces on it, but just being able to know that he's going to put us in the right position to make plays, and we just going to follow his lead and go out there and execute it.
Do you get a sense how fascinated everybody in Tampa is with you as a player? Did you tell that last year?
Pretty much the first game when they started the Bucky chant, it was pretty crazy, but just being able to know that you got the city behind you, it's a blessing, man. So each and every time that I go out here on this field, I'm going to give it my all.
Well, I say this all the time. You remind me of my roommate my first year of work done. He had a heck of a couple of years here in Tampa. I'm expecting a lot more good years from you too, buddy.
Let's do it.
All right, man. I'll see you later. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having
with
me.
us.
Bucky, we hope to see you in action with Baker Mayfield and some of the starters next week in Pittsburgh Saturday night. We'll see that game here. What carry? Alel Mullings, the rookie from Michigan, 6th-round draft pick. Nick Jackson, who you had mentioned earlier, had a sack a little bit earlier. The free agent from Iowa, the rookie that put them in a hole. They have since tried to dig their way out of it.
Nick Jackson is an interesting player. He wasn't even listed in the top 100 of players coming out at the position last year, but Todd Bowles told us all he does is shoot gaps, make plays, and he's always in the right place at the right time. So, again, this is a position behind Levante David and the presumed starter, Savasier Dennis, that is really kind of shallow. So he has an opportunity here to make a name for himself.
That's deflected, and it's snapped for an interception at the 40-yard line. It was deflected, and there is Nick Jackson once again.
Now that helps. That definitely helps. Pressure burst pipes, Chris, and in the second half here, we're seeing a lot of pressure from this Bucs defense. Yes, they're playing against backups, but these guys are taking their opportunities and running for it. Great play by Nick Jackson.
The defense, after that interception, they set the offense up at the 40-yard line. John Bullock, rookie from Nebraska, deflects it, and Nick Jackson comes away with the interception after having a sack earlier in the drive.
Yeah, the two guys that we mentioned earlier, Bullock and Nick Jackson, making an impact play there is obviously one area the Bucs desperately need to improve on. They had the 5th fewest interceptions a year ago with only 7 on the season, and that would definitely help get more plays like that from this defense.
And Owen Wright, the target, the pass incomplete by Connor Bazelak. Josh Grizzard, we've been talking about, if you weren't with us in the first half, first time calling plays in an NFL game. It's part of the passing game last year. Some experience with the Dolphins offense and Mike McDaniel prior to coming to Tampa Bay, and he'll work the sideline this week, next week, try the booth. The third game, and then decide for the regular season what's best for him as the pass is tossed to Owen White. Let's check in with Eileen for an injury update.
Hey guys, wide receiver Ryan Miller is being evaluated for a concussion. Miller was helped up by the training staff after a hit just a few moments ago. He walked off the field himself, but again, he is being evaluated for a concussion. Guys?
Thank you, and that's one of the reasons, right, the smelling salts, because some guys would try to push through a concussion. And concussions are down, by the way, once again. They have been repeatedly going down around the league each year, so some of that's the improved helmet technology, whether it's the Guardian or just other helmets. We hope that Miller is okay. Bazelak open down to the 21-yard line. First down catch. Garrett Green.
This is really good patience by Bazelak here. This play is a little bit long developing, and watch Green. He's just having to work behind the secondary. As soon as he passes 42 there, the ball hits him right in the chest. And we talked about that timing about Bazelak as a quarterback, and it showed itself right there. Nice completion for the first down.
Green, his father, Charlie Green, former Major League catchers, now the bullpen coach for the Milwaukee Brewers, who have been impressive, leading their division, surprising some folks this year. After a pickup of 13 at the 21-yard line of Tennessee, Owen Wright will pick up 3 or 4. Flag down as the Cannons fire inside the 20. They're discussing
let's hope that wasn't a premature cannon.
There is no foul in the play. It's second down.
It was a
please reset.
On time cannon. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right on time.
Get myself in trouble.
Yeah, I know. Be careful there. I was filing through the bad jokes, the dad jokes, the cannon fire counts, and it's at the 18-yard line. And the down and distance brought to you by Advent Health, the exclusive hospital of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, the Advent Health Center, Buccaneers training camp. Great setup over there. Closely aligned with your Bucs. Owen Wright's the back. He's got some room. Down to about the 12.5. We'll check that spot. It's going to be short of the first down. Let's see if they get it more towards.
Well, if you're Josh Grizzard right now, you're going to continue to lean on this running game and continue to get looks at this offensive line. I mean, obviously, Bazelak is probably not in the conversation for a roster spot, maybe a practice squad guy down the road, and Owen Wright probably the same thing. But again, these guys up front, this is where they're going to make a play. And Jake Majors, the center in there now, is a guy that I know that they're looking heavily at to be a backup.
Jacob Harris fighting for the first down, and then the ball may have come out. Titans are pointing, but we'll check. Wait for an official's signal, because he did not initially have the first down on the reception, but worked his way through a couple of Titan defenders. That interception a moment ago was the first turnover in the game. If it is ruled a fumble, and it is, possession Tennessee, of course they'll take a closer look and review it just to make sure, and we'll show you the look we have as the ball is clearly knocked out. And they say the Titans were on it first and have recovered. Tennessee on offense.
Today we're talking to
You're
Jacob
not the
Pierce. I
biggest
got
guy,
a chance to sit down
right?
with him.
Give me a sense of what you're going to bring to this defense. I would just say like my effort, to be honest. You know, I feel like each and every play, I'm just giving my all, everything I do. Know I'm the smallest guy. I gotta be good in technique each and every play. So, you know, when I go on the practice field, you know, try to be perfect at every single rep.
Well, here's my card on Jacob Parrish. He's really impressive, smooth, twitchy, has that ability to play inside and outside. We've seen that, and I think what really impresses me is his awareness, his instincts. You know, when you get on the practice field and you see guys that are just always in the right place at the right time, you can tell he works at his game. And I mentioned earlier that we haven't had a true corner play this position since probably Sean Murphy Bunting a couple of years ago. It's been Antoine Winfield Jr., it was Christian Izzian, and then it was Tyke Smith. All of those guys are safeties in this defense, but he's really kind of setting a different mold for the position here in Tampa. And I know that Todd is really, really impressed with what he's seen from him so far.
Yeah, Bunting outstanding when he was here with the Bucs, that playoff, that postseason run. Some impressive numbers, and this an impressive run. Just short Khalil Mullings, the former linebacker, switched to running back at Michigan before they put him out here, and he does have enough for the first down. Tim Boyle has come in as the third quarterback for Tennessee tonight, following Cameron Ward and then Brandon Allen, 7th year from Eastern Kentucky, undrafted free agent. Green Bay's bounced around. Titans become his 8th team that he's had a contract with. Under 40 seconds here to go in the third quarter. Mullings again, and the clock will run. Trading turnovers there in the third quarter after the Bucs get the interception. The Titans with a takeaway and a fumble recovery.
You know, another guy that's back to this with this Bucs defense is Bryce Hall. He re-signed. Remember, he got into a game early in the year last year, and he had that dislocated ankle, and he missed the rest of the season. It's good to see him back on the football field too. He's another guy that's in that competition for a depth role in the secondary for this Bucs team. And we talk about that depth, you can just see how many different guys we're talking about here in this game.
It's the end of the third quarter. Bucs leading the Titans 13-7 on the Tico scoreboard. Tampa Electric together. We can power through any storm. Fourth quarter live from Raymond James in a moment. Bucs hanging on to a 6-point lead to start the fourth quarter. Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, Eileen Natchuk, your team here. And time for the trivia question. We gave it to you earlier. Brought to you by Lexus. Experience amazing. Who were the 4 quarterbacks, the only 4 to start an NFC Championship game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And obviously, you got, there you go, Tom Brady, Brad Johnson.
Super Bowl.
They won their Super Bowl. Sean King was the one some people could not remember. And of course, Doug Williams. King and Williams both lost to the Rams, who went on to the Super Bowl. And it's interesting talking about quarterbacks and what Baker Mayfield has done since becoming, and again, these are the numbers as a Buccaneer quarterback.
Well, I'd love to throw Baker on that graphic this year.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to happen last year. I think a lot of us did.
Sean King, people don't remember because Trent Dilfer was the starter that year, and that was the infamous Burt Emanuel no-catch game.
But the all-time touchdown pass leader, quarterbacks, is Jameis Winston. 121, followed by Tom Brady. Again, 108 touchdown passes for Tom as Bucs.
Well, Baker keeps putting up 40 a year. He's going to catch him pretty soon.
Pretty soon, he'll surpass. Oh, we got a little movement from the Titans. And again, you saw Doug Williams' name up there, his 70th birthday today, if you weren't with us in the first half.
False start, number 61, offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
And we got an update. Eileen reported on Bucs receiver Ryan Miller. He has been cleared through the concussion protocol. He said that he's the leading receiver in the game for either team. Not likely to come back in the game, but that's good to hear because Rashad White had that, I think it was a groin injury that was reported. We didn't get official word, but we will after the game. But he left after having a really strong opening quarter. Baker Mayfield, by the way, 69 touchdown passes as a Buccaneer. His career turnaround or resurgence. Boyle throws, and a lot of people in the area, but it's incomplete at its fourth down.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Baker's going to get that at some point. Good pressure up front. We talked about Elijah Roberts, number 95, getting blocked there, but the edge is really finding some pressure. Jose Ramirez, who was a star last year in the preseason, getting his opportunity to get out there and get some pressure on a quarterback here too. And there is, right there in your screen, is Hassan Reddick, the probably most valued free agent we've had here on defensive line in a long time, probably since Simeon Rice, to be honest with you. A guy that's a known quarterback hassler. Can't wait to see him play for this football team.
A short punt, but Green moves away and it rolls to the 32. Just over 14 minutes remaining. Bucs will have the ball, and Reddick, they expect big things. He's kind of been a bit of a leader since joining the Bucs. GMC dealers, GMC, we are professional grade.
Yeah, we'll go to Pittsburgh next week. They practice with them on Thursday, I believe, and get a chance to see Aaron Rodgers probably stand on the sideline. And the preseason game 3 is against Buffalo. Probably won't see a lot of starters in that game because they have a common opponent. They play them during the regular season. And they open up on the road at Atlanta.
Yes, their division rival who swept them last year in 2 outstanding games. Sean Tucker comes back into the game, running tough for Tampa Bay.
Get a chance to see Raheem Morris, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, former coach of the Buccaneers. His birthday is that week. Should be fun.
Boy,
hopefully we give him a present of a loss.
Part of the 50 years of the Buccaneer organization. And do want to mention it at halftime, too. It was the Glazer Family Small Business Fund recognized, along with other members of ownership, because of the great contributions to Hurricane Helene and Milton. The Glazer family donating millions of dollars in relief fund, and always try and contribute charitable events as Tucker carries. And let's see if they move the chains or not. See where that spot is. It looks like they're walking the other way.
Offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Well, that was a good run anyway by Sean Tucker. It was great talking to Bucky Irving and watching Rachaad White. Hope that he's okay. But Bucky, boy, so humble, came in here as a 4th-round draft pick. And Rachaad White was he a third round? Yeah, he was a third rounder.
Third rounder. They found some success there.
Yeah, I mean, I know that position doesn't get as much respect, but you saw what Saquon Barkley did for the Super Bowl champion Eagles.
Oh, trust me, it's important. How about that?
Right on target. Rakim Jarrett. Bazelak now 5 out of 6.
Looks good. Timing is good. He's finding guys behind coverage. You see him just over the outstretched arms of number 57 for Tennessee right there.
You mentioned, we talked about Josh Grizzard and going to Duke and Yale. Bazelak, 3 college degrees. I'll run through those in a moment. He said he was a smart quarterback. Usually have to be to play that position. So I know you're chuckling.
The funny thing about Bazelak is when I was talking to Grizzard about him, he's like, I'm kind of annoyed at him that none of this is phasing him. He's a rookie in the NFL. Obviously, he's played a long time in college football, so he has experience under center, but he's unflappable, and that's a good trait for the position.
He's got a bachelor's degree at Missouri in finance, in Indiana, a liberal arts degree, and from Bowling Green, an MBA. There's a lot of education there.
Overachiever. Good for him, though.
So him and Grizzard should get along just fine. Battling for a backup spot, a roster spot somewhere as Tucker carries.
Well, it's interesting to see Sean Tucker back in his football game. Owen Wright got a bunch of carries earlier, but as we mentioned before, without Josh Williams up, there's only 2 active running backs out here, and we've seen all night that they want to emphasize this run game and continue to evolve some of these young offensive linemen, and Tucker's having himself a good night.
We mentioned with White and Irving the draft picks. Jason Light, the general manager, all but 3 of the starters, the 22-plus starters, if you count nickelback position, are draft picks of the Bucs. Homegrown Bucs as the pass is completed. Here comes a flag. Jacob Harris, who lost the football a moment ago on the fumble.
It's going to be a hold.
Light in penalties in the first half. We're seeing a few more.
Prior to the pass, holding number 36 defense. The penalty is declined. Play resulted in first down.
Jacob Harris has really only been in the building about 5 days. Really big receiver. You stand next to him on the sideline, you can see just how big he is. That's not the one that was called. There was actually a call on Harris, number 30 as well.
Yeah, but that was Clarence Lewis, I think. And it was Lewis. Carries inside the 45. I should go back over the draft picks because, obviously what we talked about the most recent 5 years, the most successful years of the Buccaneer franchise, and what General Manager Jason Light has done. He drafted Graham Barton last year. Also, we talked about Bucky Irving, and then the #1 pick this year. You expect big things. You think he'll be in that lineup opening day. Emeka Egbuka had that one catch for 21 yards. Also returned a punt. I mean, that's how you keep the thing going. That's why you get, a chance to get your 5th straight NFC South division title, which has never been done before. The Bucs would be the first to do that. And he's a little behind. Miller, who we didn't think would be back in the game after getting cleared, better be careful.
We'll talk about Jason and his group, Rob McCartney and Mike Beal, Mike Greenberg, who's the money man, who's the money guy. I mean, they've been really intentional with how they've drafted, and it's not necessarily about talent. Yes, they got a talented wide receiver in Emeka Egbuka standing next to Mike Evans there, the greatest of all time here in Tampa. But the way that they draft here has been pretty impressive, and it's not looking for overly talented guys. They want guys that love football. They're going to put this jersey on and want to be a part of what's going on here, and they've done a masterful job getting those type of guys in the building.
The blitz was on, and the pass is incomplete for Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith, also recent addition, and another enormous receiver, 6'5", out there, and that Bazelak was trying to get that ball up to the tallest guy on the field right there. He wasn't able to get that completion.
Didn't have a lot of time with the extra pressure, so the punting unit comes out. We kind of expected a low-scoring game. I think the total number was around 32 or below 33 points, and right now we're sitting at 20. Bucs expected to win by a field goal or more.
For those of you that care about that.
For those of you that have an interest, and there are a lot of people that do, even in the preseason. They have to tune up for the regular season. Jackson, fair catch. Well, it's good punt by Dixon to pin him inside the 10. That's where the Titans will take over, trailing. Visit your Lazy Days RV today, your RV authority.
There's a lot of good in this drive. Obviously, Ryan Miller has such a great night tonight, and then that young offensive line getting a great push for Sean Tucker's touchdown.
42 rush yards for Tucker, and Kyle Trask, 12 of 16, 129 yards. Eileen is with the quarterback.
That's right, guys. I got the man of the hour with me. Kyle, how do you feel about your performance in the first half?
I feel like it was pretty good. There's definitely some plays I like to have back, but for the most part, I feel like it went pretty well. I thought the offense as a whole executed. Obviously, there's going to be things to clean up, per usual, but overall, I thought it was great. That was great.
And one of the great things, first-round pick Emeka Egbuka, you got to throw to him in some live game action. What was that like?
Oh, it was awesome. I could see it in his eyes before we went out there. I was like, oh yeah, this guy's about to ball out. So I'm happy that he got a couple shots at it, got a nice grab on that out down here. But no, he's definitely a great player, and he's going to make a lot of plays for the Bucs this season. I can tell you that.
Aside from him, are there any other offensive players that have stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, like you see tonight, Ryan Miller, he definitely had a great performance. I think Sean Tucker has been doing great also this camp. I think overall everyone's been buying in. Everyone loves Grizz and the offense that he's been implementing. And I think I've seen a lot of growth just from the unit as a whole ever since camp has begun.
And then this is Grizz's first time calling live plays. I mean, that's impressive what he's doing tonight.
Yeah. No, he's done a good job this camp, like kind of trying to get those reps under his belt and call it from the sidelines. And this is his first time calling. I think he did a great job, and keep building from here.
How do you feel about Connor Bazelak's performance tonight too? It's kind of fun watching him out there in the second half.
Oh, it's awesome. I've been trying to hype him up, and I don't know what just happened there, but no, he's been doing a good job this camp, and he's dialed in. He's made some good throws, got the offense moving, so I like what I see for sure.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yep, thank you.
Chris, back to you.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Nice work tonight. Well, that was J.J. Roberts making the play of the free agent from Marshall.
Yeah, near interception there by J.J. Roberts. We keep talking about J.J. Roberts, and I'm telling you, we're going to watch the rest of this preseason. He's going to continue to make those plays because that's exactly what he's been showing in practice.
So Hecker, the veteran who would coach Fossil, seems like that's a team that they go together from their Ram days when they're here in Tennessee, from his own end zone. And Garrett Green, fair catch, but then the ball hits inside the 45 and rolls out of bounds. Again, great field position, but neither offense, Bucs especially, had some opportunities, have been able to do anything with it, but hanging on to a 13-7 fourth quarter lead. 34-yard punt. Ball spotted in Tennessee territory. Tonight's Good Greek moving and storage move of the game. Good Greek, your superhero movers, the 23-yard run.
Man, who else could this be but Sean Tucker? He's had a great game tonight, 42 yards on the ground. His average has ticked down a little bit as he's got some carries here in the second half, but Sean Tucker showing what he is all about.
And what a move that was. Later scored that touchdown. Last year he had 50 carries, over 300 yards, averaged over 6 yards a carry. What a free agent signing by the Bucs, continuing to develop. And straight ahead is Owen Wright. He's got a first down at the 26 of Tennessee. Tonight's player of the game brought to you by Farah & Farah, Tampa's accident attorneys. Make it a fair fight.
It's got to be Sean Tucker. 12 rushes and a touchdown. Owen Wright's going to try to make a case for himself here in the second half. It's Sean Tucker deserves it.
It's a Sean Tucker show, and I think Kyle Trask was in consideration there. We just heard from him. It's great boy. Sounded and looked good tonight, and that's important for Buck fans to have. Baker's fine. Obviously practicing, ready to go for next week as Wright carries. Here comes a flag. But you want to make sure that backup so often during a long season can step in for you. There's Sean Tucker.
Well, you talk about that backup quarterback. The one thing about Baker is he's been pretty durable. I mean, he hasn't missed many games, or if any, I think, in his career. It's certainly not here in Tampa. He's been extremely reliable. And Chris talked about his hand. He had banged his hand on a helmet in practice the other day.
Illegal use of hands to the face, number 56 of the defense. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
But he did practice the rest of the week, and he will be fine to play next week. But you're 100% right. There's no more important position in football than that position. And we haven't seen a lot of Kyle Trask at all in games. I think he came into a game last year and got a couple of throws when Baker had to go to the sideline. But other than that, it's the reason why the Bucs brought in Teddy Bridgewater, because they have some experience, not only as a valuable backup, but certainly some experience in that room talking to Kyle and Baker when this season gets going.
It'll be Wright again with a big hole and takes advantage down to the 12.
Just a really good job up front, Chris. And I know I've talked about this ad nauseum, talking about this offensive line. They're rolling a bunch of guys into those positions, and they're all performing well. There's that little gap run. You see the puller coming across the center there. They open up that gap right behind Jake Majors, the free agent out of Texas. And Owen Wright does a great job getting his foot in the ground and getting vertical and picking up some nice yards.
Jalen Harrell, the injured player, heading over to the Titans sideline. Just over 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Remember, there are no overtimes in the preseason, so you settle for ties. I showed you earlier the new overtime adjustment rule, and fans are happy about that. The NFL, each team gets the possession within that 10-minute overtime regular season period. Of course, different into the postseason where you play on. On second down, 2. Can Wright get the first down? Yes, he can, toward the end zone. Owen Wright leaps forward, and Wright is in with the touchdown, and there's a flag down back at the 11.
Holding number 30 offense. 10-yard penalty if you spot the flag. Replay, second down.
Well, the fans don't like the holding call on Jacob Harris, but it's a heck of a run by Wright.
Yeah, and you see when Wright makes that jump out to the outside, number 30 right there, top right of your screen, he just grabbed onto the jersey. He actually didn't need to.
Yeah.
The running back was already out of phase of that tackler.
Harris
brings it back. But Owen Wright, I mean, like I said, he's making a case for himself. Can we redo the vote?
Well, I know you said that he was overlooked. He's a 3-down back. I mean, he's got the tools to be that if he's in that role. Signed on July 31st. Last 2 seasons he was with the Ravens, mainly on their practice squad. Played 4 seasons at William & Mary, and then 2 at Monmouth. Grandson of former Washington star, Frigolas. Tucker has come back in to get Wright a breather. Hit it hard right when he got near what looked like a first down. But he jumps up. We've seen that's one thing the Titans, and we wondered, as Eileen reported when we opened the broadcast, from the scrimmage when there was a little bit of a skirmish out there, would it carry over? And at least within the rules, it's been physical but clean.
Guys fighting for jobs. Still impressive run up front. I'll reiterate, great run by Sean Tucker, but really good blocking up front by this Bucs offensive line, these young offensive linemen.
First down review. Is that what they're checking here? So this is where maybe the Hawkeye version. We may need a virtual measurement. Again, the on-field crew spots it. We just want to make sure.
And you'll notice there's still chain gang people down here.
Yeah.
That's not disappearing.
That's only just in case technology lets us down. Right?
That's for our visuals.
And
there you go.
Yeah, this is
first look at it
to show us, and then so that shows you how far away. See, that's pretty cool.
That is good.
That's good, and that's what we all want. We can see it on TV and have the technology that let everybody else see it in the stadium.
After measurement, the ball is short of the line to gain. It's third down.
Take that, AI.
He didn't laugh at your joke.
It's okay. He was working. He's focusing. Third down at inches. Owen Wright has come back in. And look at this. Owen Wright into the end zone for a Bucs touchdown.
Owen Wright's going to yell at somebody here.
And there is a flag down. And yeah, you
10-yard penalty for spotted foul. Replay, third down.
Forget which Titans player got up and was just screaming at the official as Wright took off. It might have been David Benda. Not sure. And yeah, he just got smothered. I think it was Coe Keith who they called it on.
Well, they'll point it out in the meetings, but again.
Well, he does such a great job usually.
He does. Just an unnecessary penalty, though. I mean, when Wright's walking into the end zone and he's still holding on to the block.
All right, so that's why we can rewind things. On 3rd and 7. 2 Owen Wright touchdowns. Penalties keep it at 13-7 for the moment. Why not give it to Owen Wright this time? No holding and no big run, but the clock will run to under 6 minutes. And field goal try. This time it'll be Ryan Coe, rookie free agent from Cal. After all that, that's all you can do is smile. 36-yard field goal try. This is important to at least make it a 2-score game. It's good. 16-7 Bucks, just over 5.5 to go in the fourth quarter.
Whether it's DIY day,
Your day.
Game day.
Yeah, it's game day. Birthday.
Advent Health keeps you ready for every day and for everything that makes you feel whole. Exclusive hospital of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It's a Baker Mayfield commercial. Everybody in that commercial had Baker Mayfield jerseys on. She doesn't want his picture on the wall. Come on.
It was great when we went into the locker room before the game talking to new offensive coordinator Josh Zard. Baker came in with a cup of teas, and I don't mean iced tea, not the big iced tea. These were golf teas he was teasing you about. He's still not over his Lake Tahoe. You know, he wanted to do a little better there. That's okay. He's got game. You tell me he's got a good golf game.
He's got game, except he's on the wrong side of the ball. Righty quarterback, lefty golfer. I don't get it.
Hey, as long as he gets it down the fairway and completes the passes. What a great story. You know, he's really become one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Popular. He's Buck fans around the league have loved his genuine enthusiasm and the results that he's put up. Sheffield on the return for Tennessee. Those are encouraging stories. Guys find a home and settled in. Has a lot around him this year, a lot more. It seems like they keep adding. He did talk about, you know, great numbers that Baker put up, and he right away went to that 16 interception. You know, that's one thing that's on my mind. I know his training camps. Like, got to clear that up. I mean, he's an aggressive guy.
Yes, he's going to take the good with the bad somewhat with Baker, but 41 touchdowns offset that a lot. And the interceptions, some of them are mitigated by, great offensive play throughout the rest of the game, but I mean, he does want to clean that up. I mean, he's so talented. I mean, a lot of people don't give him credit. They think he's too short, too small, whatever. The guy got such a good arm, and he's an impeccable leader. And just from the moment he walked into the building 2 years ago, or I guess 3 years ago, he has been exactly what you want at the position. And he had a tough road, obviously. He's taken reins from Tom Brady, who won the Super Bowl a couple of years before, but he has certainly made this team his own.
#1 overall pick, as Cam Ward was for the Titans this year. Boyle's throw incomplete. Down and distance brought to you by the Advent Health, the exclusive hospital of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So when you see that on the screen, you get a better idea where everything is. So the Bucs at Pittsburgh against, we may see Aaron Rodgers in that game next Saturday evening. And then on the Bucs preseason television network, and then home against the Buffalo Bills before opening against the NFC South Falcons. Good defensive game tonight. Boyle's throw knocked in the air and intercepted. A Tampa Bay takeaway. Terry Funderburk.
Thank you, J.J. Roberts. Tyreek Funderburk is the one with this interception, but great coverage underneath by number 36. You'll see it on this replay. This ball is going to the receiver in the slot on this little 10-yard hitch, if you will, and just great play. He had an opportunity to get one earlier, J.J. Roberts did, but that one tipped it up in the air. 24, Tyreek Funderburk, who had a great preseason last year, gets an interception. Second takeaway by this Bucs defense.
In his second year from Appalachian State. We were talking about Baker Mayfield. It's funny, he said recently in an interview that I think our defense is going to shock some people this year. That sounds weird to hear about a Bucs defense shocking somebody, but the last few years it's been more of an offensive team, at least the headlines, right? For obvious reasons. There's a flag there. Like that you played in the early years, we were talking about was defense. Got to have both to win it all.
Well, I know exactly what Todd Bowles is going to say after this game.
What's he going to say?
He's going to talk about penalties. How many is that now in the second half?
We'll get a check on that once we just had an offensive penalty.
I think it's illegal formation.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Well, they only had one through the first half. That is for Tampa Bay now the 5th penalty in the game. Seems like more, doesn't it?
Well, I think they've all been in here recently.
Tennessee has 6 total.
To the chagrin of Owen Wright, who had 2 touchdowns taken away. But yeah, formation penalty. I mean, he's laughing about it now. But you know deep down he's seething. It's going to be the first thing he says in the locker room when they get in there.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, look at film and go, because that was something that came up during the week, even in practice, when they brought the officials in to call penalties. Big hole. He's still going on right. Near the 20. Check the spot if it's good enough for a first down.
I think I'm going to give my game ball to the offensive line. Come on, Chris.
He got the first down.
Yeah, this is what they're at 100 and almost 150 yards rushing at this point.
And that offensive line, I mean, it's a mixture of guys in different positions.
Yes, it is. It's a bunch of guys trying to find out where they can fit into this team, and all they do is continue to open big holes for Owen Wright and Sean Tucker earlier in this football game. Well done up front.
Yeah, we talked about the Buccaneers last year breaking through with incredible rush numbers, averages per carry with that combo of Irving and White. Nice work there for Owen Wright. And inside the 20.
I think they've just done a good job coaching. That's big, pat on the back to Kevin Carberry, who's the offensive line coach that, helped implement some of that gap scheme run that showed up last year. And these guys have really bought into it. It's technical. I mean, there's a lot of pulling and movement on the front 5, and they got to be able to move and find bodies, opposite colored jerseys and create lanes for the running back. It suits Bucky Irving, to be honest with you. He suits his running style perfectly, and obviously Sean Tucker and Owen Wright are benefiting from it just as much tonight.
And it's Wright. He's headed to the end zone, and Owen Wright has a Buccaneer touchdown. And I don't see any flags.
Good for him. You'd hate to see a guy that is now rushed for over 70 yards and had 3 touchdowns for not one of them to count. Again, look at this movement. You get the tight end coming back across, the split zone look. Tennessee is completely out of whack. There's nobody on the other side of that formation to make that tackle on Owen Wright, and he just coasted into the end zone.
He had no regular season offensive stats in the league last year, but everybody rooting for him. and that one counts. Coe with the extra point try. After a moment ago kicking the field goal, and Coe. Missed the extra point, but a 22-7 lead. If you missed any of tonight's game, you can see it all tomorrow. Watch Bucs replay tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. on the CW Tampa Bay. For the fans who came out, a little rain earlier, the field was covered with the tarp, then it cleared, cooled things off, and they've had a good time tonight. Kicking off the 50th year of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I think the Bucs have nailed just about everything with this 50th anniversary celebration. I mean, even from the logo on down. I mean, I don't know who designed this. I know there's a piece on it on their website, but they got it perfect. Colors, the shape of it. You got the pins that we had on the lapels tonight. They got them on their jerseys.
And the voting for the top 50 Buck players of all time. I know you're
ongoing.
Yes, so you're in that. You got to be in that top 5.
I'll be somewhere.
So I'll vote for you. Don't worry. But there's some great ones, and how you rank them, that's the tough part, right? Once you get 50, hey, everybody will take that. But there's some sense of pride. A lot of defensive guys up at the top. With Derek Brooks, we talked about Leroy Selman earlier. Sheffield is moving as Landers seems to be checking on the other side with a flag down. 2 flags now, one at the 20 and one at the 30. And we're going to be showing some of the great Buccaneer moments too. I know how can you vote for the top few? You know, obviously Super Bowl wins.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 33 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of foul. First down.
I mean, you with the vet, all-stop pinballing.
The dagger.
Right. Derek Brooks, right?
Super Bowl. Dwight Smith, his 2 pick sixes.
Yeah, pick six. Of course, Tom Brady, Scotty going deep against Green Bay.
There's a lot of them.
Baker perfect at Lambeau Field. And revenge in New Orleans. I mean, you know, Evans, what he continues to do. Maybe the top offensive play. You got quarterbacks, but we're talking about guys who, I think it means a lot. I'm not just saying that because you're here, but to have spent your entire career with the franchise. So many players have had to move with great careers with different teams. Guys like you, Derek Brooks, all Buck all the time. Specialist of the Hall of Fame. But Super Bowls, 2-0 Super Bowls. Baker Mayfield, this year's Bucs team, a chance to win. We mentioned the 5th straight division title. That hasn't happened in the NFC by a team since the Cowboys in the 90s. Jordan Mims, former 49er and Buffalo Bill, following that in.
And they're certainly in rare air, Chris. I mean, and we're not saying that because we're on a Homer broadcast right now, but the reality is they've proven themselves through many different types of teams. One with the Hall of Fame quarterback and Tom Brady. One with a guy that everybody had discarded, Baker Mayfield, and just continue to plug on, drafting well, picking up the right type of players, and finding a way to win the South year in and year out. And that's just impressive. I don't care how many people try to discount this team. But this is a really good organization. They do things the right way, and it's showing.
Yeah, 57 wins, regular and postseason in the last 5 years. That's tied with Baltimore for the 4th most in all of the NFL, behind Kansas City, the Bills, the Eagles. Nearing 2 minutes warning on 4th down and 5. Desperation for Boyle on the Titans, and he floats one calmly across the 30 for a first down. TJ Sheffield, rookie from UConn. We've seen him on the return. A couple of kickoff returns. Of course, the penalty hurt the one he had a moment ago, and Landers was on one side. Landers bringing the ball back.
This is the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning. Titans on the move. Bucs with a 22-7 lead.
Ladies and gentlemen.
2 minutes remain, a 22-7 Buccaneers lead.
It's not a Bucs Buck broadcast without getting Buckified on it.
Is that's back there with the cool head? I hope his batteries don't run out. He's plugged in. Hey, preseason action next Saturday. Bucs travel to Pittsburgh. We've mentioned it. They'll take on the Steelers at 7 o'clock right here on News Channel 8, your official Bucs station, and all the Buccaneers TV preseason.
I mean, that is just a great get-up. WFLA employee right there. We did that on purpose, obviously.
I like that he prepares. He's into the game. Thrown down at the 39.
Hey, he's in the Hall of Fame now. Don't forget about it. He's a Hall of Fame fan.
Okay, he gets your vote. Hey, so what should what you saw tonight, and we can talk more post-game. What did you like tonight? What do you hope to see in Pittsburgh?
I'll say it over and over again. This rush offense has been spectacular. And look, we get some
rush defense
and some pass rush here showing up for the Bucs here late in the game. I want to see some of these starters play. Obviously, we're only going to get, I think, one game with the frontline guys, with the first-team guys, and that'll be against Pittsburgh next week. So, yeah, I mean, look.
First charge timeout, Tennessee. 30-second timeout.
We know what we're going to get from the Bucs offense. Obviously, they continued to, finding a groove, if you will, for Josh Grizzard will be something that we pay attention to. But the reality is this team we know needs to play better on defense, and that's been an emphasis all camp. So I'm most excited, obviously I'm on that side of the ball, about seeing some of our frontline guys starting. Yaya Diaby, I want to see Hassan Reddick play, and I want to see how Labonte and Savassi Dennis play in the middle. And I would not be shocked if Emeka Egbuka is getting a lot of snaps with that first-team offense in Pittsburgh next week.
Big defensive sack. It's a combo attack with 3 different Bucs burying Tim Boyle on 3rd and 12. Incomplete. Titans have 2 timeouts remaining, just 1:31 to go. Bucs took the opening drive, marched downfield, got a field goal, and then Sean Tucker took over, ran the ball in for a touchdown, and they have held on since. 2 interceptions by the Buccaneer defense. The ground game, as you said, even without their starters in the offensive line, they controlled the flow of the game.
Absolutely. 87 yards on the ground for Owen Wright. Sean Tucker had 50. I mean, this is impressive.
On 4th down and 12. Boyle throws. And it's intercepted. That's 3 takeaways. And this is going all the way back inside the 5. Roman Peroni just did miss a touchdown. He thinks he got it. They didn't rule him in to the end zone. They're discussing it.
Rolling on the field, his player broke the play in the goal line with the possession of the ball. Touchdown.
There you go. Don't take away from the young kid.
They'll look at it.
I'm not sure if this is a touchdown, but bad throw. Take advantage of the overthrows and the misthrown passes. And Roman Peroni, 6'2", 204. Now, he is the prototype of a Bucs corner. Big, tall, long, rangy, obviously great speed. And the third takeaway for this Bucs defense is not something Todd Bowles will be upset about after this game.
No, they're reviewing it because it looked, I don't know if they're making sure he held onto the ball or if he landed out of bounds. That was Tim Boyle who tried to prevent him from taking it back across the goal line. But he knew what to do with it, the rookie free agent from Ohio. They hesitated and then discussed it and then said touchdown. But now this is worth pointing out because we now have at every stadium, and it's in the preseason through the regular season, you'll have 12 fixed cameras in each spot, and they're in the same spot, covering sideline, boundary line, and see the ball's out the hand. It's where did he cross the goal line?
Well, it was he out of bounds. Here you go, Chris. Was he out of bounds? Did that ball stay in bounds when he dropped it in the end zone? And it was recovered by a Buck. So there's a lot that they're looking at right here.
And that's why they have the 12. These are 4K cameras,
and they're showing it on the big screens here in the stadium.
Right,
and they're not getting those looks. But
yeah, they'll do that for, obviously they want everybody to see it. It looks there. You can see why they hesitated on ruling it a touchdown. So they put them at the goal line, back line, pretty much any boundary. And again, these are separate cameras than those that are used for the virtual measurement. There's 6 Hawkeye cameras for that.
Obviously, if they think that this ball is out, because he's not on the ground, and if it's out and it
looked like it hit
goes out through the end zone.
Watch where it lands.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
It's just going to stand.
Touchdown.
Way to go. Don't take that away from them, young man.
They're going to say, ooh, he was out, but looked like maybe the ball, I can't tell. But
call Dave Blandino and see.
Mike Pereira and Blandino say, give him the touchdown. And they did. Reviewed, they got it right.
That would be an interesting one on the officials tape, on the weekly officials tape that we all get to look at.
But this is the progress we want to make. In the NFL, with cameras in place, discussed, review, confirm. Ryan Coe, the extra point. Roman Peroni up. Pick 6 of 39 yards. Remember what I was saying about the points in this game? They didn't think it was going to be low scoring. Preseason, you know, those that are so inclined to pay attention. And we watch for different reasons, of course, the enjoyment of the game. Wow.
That did it.
Yeah, that's an impressive boy. Todd Bowles' defense, you know, we were giving the offensive line and the running game so much credit. 3 interceptions, all in the second half. And guys trying to earn a spot. The Bucs are somewhere. Every little bit counts.
It's great, you know, this opportunity. So many guys that play football, 30 million people have played football, probably 35 have played professionally, and you know, not everybody on this field is going to get a chance to do that after these 3 preseason games, but he's got a highlight.
And they saw him, he was on special teams, still humping and pumping for running that ball back. Sheffield. Yeah, he's been good on some of these returns for Tennessee. Titans will play at the Falcons and then home with Minnesota. To round out their preseason, they open at the Broncos. A lot of work for Coach Callahan, but
yeah, they got a long road, I think, and even with the impressive rookie quarterback and some really good talent at wide receiver, this is a team that's still coming together. I think they're a year away at least from being really competitive in the AFC South.
And straight ahead is Jordan Mims. Just over a minute to go. You know, if you get the quarterback, you get the right guy, and they weren't necessarily, once they knew they got the top pick, hey, he's our guy. They looked, they checked, and the more they found, the more they dug, the more they were around him and watched him, the more they were convinced that this is the best guy in the draft for us to take to turn the franchise around. Will Levis is injured currently. They've tried before with the first rounder, certainly not the first overall pick, but he is at the moment seemingly out of the picture in Tennessee. Got the right guy, you build around him, whether he's a draft pick or a veteran, as the Bucs have shown with Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield.
I think they got the right guy. I think they got the best quarterback in this year's draft, certainly. And again, he's such a poised and mature young man. Like, to me, there's no doubt that eventually he's going to be a good football player. They just got to get the pieces around him. Last year was certainly a rebuild year. This is probably more of a let's see where we're going forward and if we're doing the right type of things.
Todd Bowles and the Bucs open their 50th anniversary in the NFL with a preseason victory at home. 29-7. Ground game. Sean Tucker, Kyle Trask through the air, and 3 interceptions, 1 run back for a touchdown. And they kick it off with a victory. We will have more. We're live at Raymond James. Post-game comments. And a look ahead to the rest of the preseason on the Buccaneers Preseason Television Network.